Good evening. Thank you for joining us for Class in Session, where we speak to Caribbean educators about their impact, the culture shocks, their experience of being in the United States and learning about its culture. I have with me today a very special guest, Miss Kamika Jordan, owner of Yaadie Educator. She is also a member of the Jamaican diaspora. She's repping her shirt.
Yes,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much, Kamika, for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
And when I spoke to you yesterday and even a couple days before, I shared with you the idea behind having this conversation because I've been seeing so many educators, but no one with a Caribbean
Represent
voice.
us. Yes,
And so I felt it was important for us, be it that so many of us are here, to have and share. We have an experience, so it's important for us to share that experience, especially because
definitely.
there are many educators who migrate and they have so many questions about what the process is like, what's the experience. I just think we need to start having those conversations.
I agree.
So let's go to the very first time you landed here and you knew for a fact that you were going to be a teacher. What was your first impression?
So, as I reflect on when I just got here, I'm going to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I was placed in a rural area, so that was different from where I was coming from. In Jamaica, I was in the urban area. It was
Mm-hmm.
very new that I'm going to a rural area, and seeing how different the school was as well compared to where I'm coming from. So that was
Mm-hmm.
also something that I really had to adjust to. Going in, making sure that I'm starting to already think, oh, I'm going to navigate my way on this new journey.
When you say different, can you go into
It's
a little bit detail?
let me be honest. One of the things that you want to be able to understand from the jump is the decision to come. You have to embrace whatever you're about to embark on. I tried also to do a little bit of connection with others who were here before I
Mm-hmm.
came. So
Mm-hmm.
that kind of helped me a little bit coming in. When I came, I ended up finding, along with some others, trying to stay in the city.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like maybe 40 minutes from work.
Okay.
So that part allowed me to, I guess, be connected a little bit with what I was used to back home
Mm-hmm.
because it's a city life. But at the
Right.
same time, the driving, that long commute for me, I did not have that back home. I
Mm-hmm.
was in Portmore, so my drive was like a 10-minute drive to work. So that part too, navigating that time frame, leaving a little bit earlier, trying to get to work on time, and then going in the building and seeing how big the building was compared to where I was
Massive.
coming from. Massive.
Massive.
Massive. So when I was in Jamaica, I was at a private school. The number within itself is going to be smaller. Coming here and seeing how huge that building was and knowing that you're looking at a building that holds pre-K through fifth grade was a lot,
Yeah.
over 600, 700 kids. So that was an adjustment for me
Okay.
coming in.
And let's talk a bit more about being in that building for your first day of school. What was that like?
There's going to be a little bit nerve wracking because you're approaching something that is brand new to you. My first impression, ooh, they don't dress the way our kids dress.
We're
They don't.
uniformed all the way
The
through.
uniform wasn't there. So, they have on the latest stuff, latest
Mhm.
Jordans and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, this is different. So, we quickly adjusted to that. But that was one of the biggest things. Going in.
I guess as a Jamaican educator, I'm so accustomed to my students in their uniform. That first time you step into the classroom, I recognize, oh, everybody is just doing their own thing, their own.
It's a wide variety. You can be dressed sometimes in your
Mm-hmm.
PJs.
Yeah, and that's
It's
not a thing
different.
that we do. Point, your socks has to be this way, your shirt has to be tucked in this way, your hair has to be combed this way. It's very different.
It's yeah.
In that difference, was there any student that you had that would come to you and say, I don't understand what you're saying, you're teaching me, I don't get it because
So
of the accent?
yes. So
Mhm.
prior to coming here to teach, I traveled. So, you do a little bit of code switch and try to sound a little bit more like,
Like
what
them.
they're accustomed to, like them. So I did not have that with students coming to me. However, I did have a parent, and that was the part that most shocking. I did have a parent reached out to my principal at the time to say that her child is not quite understanding when I
Okay.
was approached by the principal and, given the feedback. The principal himself was shocked because,
Mhm.
I am not from the rural part of Jamaica, so my
Right.
accent is not as deep or as strong as other parts. So we talked through that. We
Mhm.
addressed that. We moved forward. But overall, to be honest with you, um, those students in from my first year, those students end up being one of the top performers at the time in my county. So I mean, I guess I polished it myself a little bit for them to
A little
understand.
bit. And it worked out better in the end, huh?
Yes,
It
ma'am.
worked out really well in the end. Let's talk about the resources that we are familiar with. In Jamaica, we have to be very resourceful.
Very
We don't have all the bells and whistles that
whistles.
seem to come with an American classroom. My memory of my class when I was a student in Jamaica was chalkboard, and windows, duster, and that was pretty much it. More or less, a lot of Jamaican classrooms are still like that. Maybe we'll have a few whiteboards, or
Mhm.
some schools are now transitioning to having whiteboards, and you might have a room that has technology, for example, a projector, but nothing like what we see here, where every room has a projector and every
Mhm.
room has a smart board. How did you adjust to the need to be resourceful versus now not having to be as resourceful as before?
So I'm glad you mentioned that. Having
Mhm.
the technology at our fingertips is one of the biggest difference for us to be able to use to our advantage.
Mhm.
So when I got here and noticed that obviously I have a smart board, learning now because obviously I did not know what that was. So,
Right.
going through the process of learning how to use that. And then on top of that, being able to know that if I want to extend my lesson to reinforce a concept, I should say that they probably did not get, then I can just say, go on such and such website, or I can create some form of online game or anything that's able to connect and extend on
Mhm.
what that lesson was about. We did
Mhm.
not have that access back home.
Right.
So that we now have that to be able to incorporate in our lessons, be able to reinforce some of those concepts that we knew was a little bit challenging. That was a big difference for me. And I really
Mhm.
accepted that because I knew with that challenge of me also learning how to use these different technologies that were now available to me, I
Mhm.
wanted to make sure that it is being used in a way that is going to give me a positive feedback or where those
Mhm.
students are able to quickly make that connection. I can start seeing that growth immediately with what we had available. So yeah, those technologies they came in handy and I was eager to learn, eager to
And I
learn.
know being eager to learn and use, I guess, is a plus. It doesn't apply to every educator. You have to be
Doesn't.
flexible.
You
You
definitely
have
have to.
to be flexible when you're coming to a new space. You have to be willing to learn. In terms of the curriculum, let's talk a little bit more about that. We use
Go there.
we use we're using a national curriculum.
Huh?
Here it seems to be district based.
It is.
How was that adjustment moving from a national curriculum, very outlined, very detailed, but still giving you a bit of flexibility in terms of how you brought across your lesson?
Huh?
What was the difference when you came here and had to adapt to a district style kind of curriculum?
So I think we talked about this briefly off
Mhm.
cameras. For me, when I came 2014,
Mhm.
at the time my district was using Common Core. To be honest with you, Common Core was not necessarily like putting you in a box. You still have a lot more flexibility with it because yes, it's a guide and it tells you exactly what needs to be covered for that
Mhm.
particular standard. And I was still able to do a lot more with that curriculum when I got here
Mhm.
because that one to me was more aligned with what we were used to
Mhm.
because it was a lot, I guess, broader than what I'm now using. So I mentioned that because, over time, districts, they come up with different curriculum that they want to use. The
Mhm.
district that I'm currently in, we're now using Eureka. So we started out,
Right.
we started out with Eureka because I'm a math teacher.
And
So
Eureka
for those who are
specifically for math.
Yes. So
Okay.
yeah, I am a math teacher. I've been doing math maybe 9 years since I've been here. So for me, I'm able to compare a lot more with that. So we switched to Eureka.
Mhm.
Eureka, I liked it. I still do, but it's scripted and I'm not that teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I will never be that teacher. I don't want to be that teacher that I am saying everything that you're seeing in a book.
Mm-hmm.
I don't present myself that way and I never will. After 21
I
years,
am familiar with that, and it feels so strange.
with experience, obviously, which we have gained over the years, that experience has allowed me to be able to be quick on my feet. Even
Mm-hmm.
though I know what the script is saying, I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to present that script to you in a way that it's going to connect
It
immediately.
feels like second
It
nature at this point.
feels, yes. So for me, the curriculum will be there, but at the end of the day, how are you able to implement it so you're reaching not only this group of kids, but obviously all the learners in your room?
Mm-hmm. Right. Do you think you may have a cultural superpower in the classroom in terms of the way that you can adapt?
If I am being honest with you and I'm comparing myself to someone who may be, you know, a year or two in teaching
Mm-hmm.
compared to someone who is, doing 2 decades of teaching, it's going to be different.
Right.
However, just understanding that if I'm in the process of doing a lesson and it's not connecting,
Mm-hmm.
my superpower at that point is going to be on display because
Mm-hmm.
for me, I'm going to stop what I'm doing and find a way immediately to make sure that what I'm bringing across to you is understood by all my learners.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that becomes a superpower. Is it a Caribbean thing? It may be, may not be.
Maybe.
But for
Mm-hmm.
me, it comes definitely with experience because not everybody can find themselves in that position to stop midway in a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
And I say this, whether I'm being observed or not.
Mm-hmm.
If I am in front of my kids and that lesson ain't lessening, I'm going to switch and I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to do what I need to do to get to my kids.
Lesson plan or not. Lesson plans are always
Lesson,
prepared, by the way,
it's a
just saying.
guide.
But many a times, I can admit that yes, I've planned it, but it didn't feel right in the moment.
Yep.
And I just had to change it right then and there because I want to
Yes.
make sure that at the end of the day, my kids get what I'm trying to give them. So yeah, I completely understand that.
And then one of the pluses, we didn't mention this, but one of the things that for me where I'm at,
Mm-hmm.
because the curriculum is such a script right now,
Right.
it takes away from sitting down for hours writing a lesson plan.
That, that
It's
part,
already in that book.
that part, that part, for
It's
sure.
already in that book. So guess what? My
For
Friday
sure.
evenings,
For sure. Let me just throw this in there though. At one point, I was working at a school which will remain nameless,
yes,
right?
ma'am.
And we had a scripted lesson. You know that I had to still go home my lesson plans? And I mean lesson plans, not outlines, full lesson plans with all the bells and whistles of a lesson plan. It took me hours. And I've
And
always said to myself, well, why would I
why?
need to write the plan if the plan is already, what is this plan for? You know, but I'm very happy I'm no longer in that situation. Let's just say that.
Well, I'm going to smile because I've
Yeah,
never experienced that. So I guess I'm one of the fortunate ones.
man, oh
As I've heard
man.
stories, girl. I
Listen,
have heard stories.
it's just a thing where people just feel like teachers are supposed to be burnt out.
You can call a spade a spade. That's like a power. You
Yeah.
showing that you're in charge. So
Mm-hmm.
you sometimes it's not from district level, but you making up your rules.
Let's talk about some of the hurdles, if you had any, of being certified here in the States. I know your process was a little bit different from mine. What was the
Mhm.
process like for you?
So obviously we had our qualifications to come in. When I got off the program, you had to obviously get a license to be able to continue teaching. Because we came on the program, you got that 3-year window where you're able to teach. I had to do foundations of reading. That's a test that you had to do to be able to add to having your license. And then I had to do, I don't remember the name of the math test that we did, but it was a reading and a math test.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we've heard stories about, teachers who, after coming out of the program, you have difficulties doing that. Yes, it's real. If you are able to sit down and talk with a friend who comes here and come off that program, those tests were not free either. You had to pay to get them done. And
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 sometimes finding the resources, the
is
materials to study
exactly
for them, it's ridiculous. You can't
it is.
find what you need.
It
It's
is.
it's quite
It
a
is.
process.
So that experience for me coming off and being able to go through that process of wanting, obviously to pass those tests and making sure that you are able to continue teaching in that position, that was a challenge for me. Foundations of reading as a math teacher, let's put it out there. Like I told you previously, as a math teacher, when I heard about foundations of reading,
Mhm.
I initially thought that if I'm teaching reading, it will be able to help me to, pass that test.
Right.
But for me, that was not the case. I had to go ahead and get a book,
Mhm.
which is called Foundations of Reading. I had to sit down for hours on top of hours and study to get that test done.
Mhm.
So just understanding that that's going to be a part of it. I know now, I don't know if that's the same for you where you are, but I know now there are other options. So, people instead of sitting down doing the test, they have like coursework, like you can go to classes now and get it done.
Mhm.
That's a lot, easier for you to pass because you're literally going in, interacting with teachers and, getting coursework done. So a lot of,
Mhm.
people afterwards started doing that because that's less stress on you, number one,
Right.
and
Right.
you're guaranteed to pass. So
But
that was the biggest struggle for me.
just to add though,
Uh,
that was a struggle for you at the time and it has changed.
yes,
I don't want anybody to feel as if because we're saying no, it's easier, that by the time they get here, it will be as
it
easy,
will be
right? Because I think one of the most important things is to recognize that the process changes over time. And
over
so what
time. Yes,
happened for you, right, is not what may have happened for me, and certainly what may not happen for somebody else. So you
true.
really have to be educated, make yourself aware
Do
of
your
what the process
research.
is
Yes,
and understand that it's not necessarily a you get on a program, you come and then boom, once the program done, you're in it. Don't
no,
work like that.
uh,
Don't work like that. You
it
still have
doesn't.
to be licensed. And I want to also add, depending on, let's say, for example, you move from one state to the next, you have to change your
Yes,
license
your
over. It's
license has to
not
be
like Jamaica
changed.
where you
Yes,
move from Kingston and you go to Morant Bay and you teach
you just
either
teach,
way because your
but
degree
not
is
here.
for your experience and everything counts for the national program. It's that's not the same thing here. Every state is different, and so
Every
you
state.
really have to do your research
True.
before thinking that you can just come and just dive into the whole teaching experience.
And on top of that, I don't know if this applies to you where you are,
Hmm.
but to maintain your license over time, you got to do those
Again.
PDs to
Hmm.
attain to go ahead and obtain those CEUs.
Hmm.
So when that 5-year window expires, make
Hmm.
sure so it's a process and
Yes, and it
it's
doesn't
not
last
you
forever.
just
The
going in and
license
getting the
don't last
license. You have to
forever.
be able to maintain that. Yeah.
Let's talk about, I guess I should have mentioned this earlier since, it has to do with the experience of being in the classroom, but either way, we're here now. Let's talk about students and student boundaries. How did
Mhm.
you adjust to what seems to be the friendlier or more informal boundaries that exist between teachers and students here in the States?
So let's put it out there. That's another cultural shock.
Mm-hmm.
If someone is from the Caribbean, there are certain things that is just a part of what we do when we're at school. Somebody walks in the classroom, all the students will get up, good morning, and good morning, Miss Buchanan, or, they're going to greet you. That's not the case here.
Walk
That's
past
not
you.
the case here. Maybe
Walk
there are
right
parts,
past you.
maybe there are parts of this country that there are teachers who may be experiencing a little bit of what we would have gotten in Jamaica. But where I
Yeah,
am at,
maybe.
I have never experienced anything like that. So one of the things that is an adjustment and that interaction piece with students that they will just come in the room and you'll be
Mhm.
standing there and they will just walk to their seat
Mhm.
without saying good morning. So that part you have to understand. Do I accept that? Because it's a cultural thing too.
I'm
We
very
have something in
particular. I am not
yes,
accepting that.
we have some things in our culture that we just cannot get rid of.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
But like I told you previously, coming here, you are going to understand what battles
Yes.
do you want to fight? That was not one of them. I tried to fight it for a while, and as stern as I was, this comes across to some of my past students from Jamaica. They
Mhm.
know how stern I was, but
Mhm.
there are some battles that you're not going to be able to win here. That
Mhm.
was one of them. I did not intend to prolong to try to
Mhm.
fight. I did not want to. So that interaction from me. And then also, if you're talking to me, I want you to be addressing me like you're talking to an adult, you're talking to your teacher. So
So
don't
not bruh.
don't walk up to me and say,
No
bro,
bruh.
not even bro, bruh. Yeah.
Bruh.
Who you talking to?
Mhm.
That's one battle that I am not going to lose because you are
Mhm.
not. You are not going to call me, bro.
Mhm.
You got a code switch. Know when you're talking to me.
Yeah.
So for me, that informal part still bites at me,
Yeah.
and it's still something that I continue to, because it's an expectation too. So
Mhm.
I'm not saying that I've dropped, my standards to accept everything.
Right.
That's one of them. I think that's a line of respect. If I am interacting with my teacher, it should sound like I'm interacting with my teacher.
Right.
If I'm interacting with
Exactly.
my friends, it should sound like you're interacting with your
There
friends.
should be a
There
difference.
should be a difference.
Yeah. For me, let me just throw it. For me, when it comes to that good morning battle, right? I've had it with adults because when I, just landed here, I did not go into the classroom because I was, I guess, a bit apprehensive because I knew that there would be some kind of cultural shock, and I don't think I was prepared to deal with
Take
it.
that on.
And
Yep.
so my first job was in an office. And me, first day, walking lunchroom, good morning. Nobody answered me.
Word. Come on.
No one. No one. And I was in shock. I was in so much shock I said it again because obviously something is wrong here.
Exactly.
Did they answer me? No.
No.
And I came home and I had to talk about it because I am so accustomed to walking past everybody, and everybody that you
And
see, you
greeting them.
have to greet them because it's a sign of respect. It doesn't
Respect,
matter
of
if they are
course.
young, old, in between. It's just a sign of respect. And in the same way, if someone is walking by you, there has to
Mm-hmm.
be some acknowledgement of your presence. So when I came here and there was no acknowledgement of my presence, I was like, I don't understand. I could not understand.
Am I standing
So
here? Yes.
when it comes to my students now being in the classroom, for me, you're not gonna come inside of my classroom and just sit down. It's not gonna
Yeah.
happen. If you can't come in the classroom and say good morning, you're gonna be out the door. That's just one of the boundaries that
I
they're
did
not.
that a couple of years. I did that a
You're
couple
not
of
coming in
years, but
here. You're not coming in here. And I know some people may have a problem with it. Some people may say, well, what difference? What are they learning? They're learning to have
mm,
respect.
they
They're
are.
learning to code switch. They're
Yeah.
learning that there is a time and place for everything. They're learning that different rules apply to different situations and you
And
have to
our
be able to
jobs
know which.
and our job as a teacher is not just to teach you what's in that book. It's a
Right.
holistic
It's all
approach
about
to
that
it.
hidden
So it's
curriculum.
all about preparing you for that world. So that's a part of it. It might be minute to you, but it still is important.
So
Still is
when my
important.
students come in the morning, they know good morning and not good morning to me only because I'm not the only one in the room, right?
Mm.
Good morning to all of us. Not that you're going to walk around and say good morning, good morning, good morning, but say it loud enough so everybody
Say it
can
loud
hear and
enough. Yeah.
respond.
I mean, to
Because,
be honest with you,
yes.
I do have a handful of students that will do that.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I say I'm not fighting that battle, I'm
Mm-hmm.
still saying I'm still doing what I know is good is showing from me a sign of respect. If
Yeah.
my students walk in, I still say good morning. Most of them
Yeah.
answer,
Yeah.
but I'm the one initiating most of the times.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to comparing, I used to do that, go back out and come back in and do all that.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten to a point where I continue to show respect to my students by
Mm-hmm.
saying good morning, good afternoon, whatever
You
the case
model it.
is.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to continue to model that
Mm-hmm.
because there are kids who will come in and do just that.
Because
So I'm still catering to the
they
ones
don't know
who
any different.
don't
That's
know any
what they have
different.
learned over time. Right? So
But for
it's a
me,
new experience for them.
yes. And to go back a little bit on that, adult interaction. I guess because I came straight into a school system,
Mm-hmm.
my colleagues, they were a lot better with, the response of, greeting each other in the morning or stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
I could not see myself walking into an office because obviously you're in a confined space
Right.
and I'm saying good morning to you and you're not responding. That's going to rub
Girl,
me some kind of way.
girl,
That's going to rub
girl,
me some kind of way.
girl. I'm
So,
telling you,
yeah, I've
it
not really
was
experienced from the adult side.
was something. It was something.
Wow.
When you talk about me feel away, I felt all types of way.
All types of way. I
All
would
types
too.
of way because of that. Trust me. But I'm in a place now, and I do recognize that where I am, you know, courtesy, common courtesy is
Mhm.
expected. So when
Yeah.
students do not do it, it is something that is reinforced. So I don't really have a problem. It's not really a battle per se. My
Mhm.
students know they come in, good morning. They come to me and they, good morning, and I get my hugs and stuff. It's
Dog and
it's
stuff.
it's
Of
now a
course.
part of our routine. It's not something that I have to fight. But man, I've seen it. I've seen it
Yeah.
and I know. I know. I
And then it
know.
also goes back to, the area that
You're
you're
in. Mm-hmm.
currently
Yeah.
working in.
Yeah.
It also helps. So,
Yeah. And I get
if you have those parents who are a lot more involved and doing, they're going to be reinforcing some of the things you are reinforcing.
right,
But if you're in
right, right.
situations where
There
it's
you
fighting a
go.
battle,
There you
yeah,
go.
it's gonna be different with the interactions.
How are you finding, since you mentioned the parent interaction, how are you finding that parent teacher relationship here? And is it comparable to the parent teacher relationship that you had back in Jamaica?
It is not. I found my parents in Jamaica a lot more hands-on. They were able to show up and, do a lot more. When kids see that parents are a lot more present, they tend to want to work a lot harder,
Mhm.
you know? So that for me, well, and then let me put this out there too, because there are going to be some teachers in Jamaica that may not be experiencing what I experienced.
Right.
So let me put that on the table. When I taught in Jamaica, I was at a private school.
Mhm.
So you are paying for your child to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that also
An
pushes
investment.
you
You
to be
don't want your
yes.
investment to be
You
wasted.
don't want exactly. So I think that pushes you as well to be that present parent because I'm investing for my child to be here. So for me, I may be talking about my experience and clearly someone else did not have that experience. So let's
Mm-hmm.
put that out there. Where I'm
Right.
at right now, where I'm currently teaching, I am in an area that is considered lower income.
Mm-hmm.
So, which means you're looking at an array of things. Parents may be doing 2, 3 jobs to make ends meet.
Right.
You have to understand that their involvement is not going to
Gonna be
be
the same.
as much as someone who goes to one job, gets off at a decent time, and can help with homework and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that's one of the biggest issues that I am facing where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the difference is if you have a student who may have done something that warrants a phone call home. If I called a parent when I was in Jamaica about
Mm-hmm.
their child that may have done something inappropriate or whatever the case is, not following direction, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they do not show up in that building, you will see the difference in that child the next morning
Right.
and the next couple of days or next couple of weeks. I have not really seen that here. You make phone calls, they give you the conversations. When they come home, I'm going to deal with them, I'm going to talk with them. You can probably count on one hand
Mm-hmm.
on a yearly basis the students who you may have had an issue with and see a difference.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it is so common to, it's business as usual. You come back, you do the same thing. So what do
Mm-hmm.
I do as a teacher with experience? I know
Which battles?
when when to choose that battle that I want
Mm-hmm.
to fight. Because at the end of the day, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do as a parent, I'm going to continue to double up and triple up because you're not going to prevent the other students from
From
learning in my
learning.
room. If
Mm-hmm.
you're going to find yourself in a situation where you're making it uncomfortable for someone else in that learning environment,
Mm-hmm.
it's like everything else.
Yeah.
Inside the classroom or outside the classroom, there's consequences, right?
Yes.
If you're consistent with your expectation, then the issues are reduced.
And every year, it's a reintroduction of
Definitely.
expectations and reinforcement of consequences, but you just have to maintain that consistency.
Definitely.
In Jamaica, we let me say I don't know about you, but when it came to planning, it felt like I was teaching 24/7. That's how it felt for me. And
Okay.
sometimes, to be honest, that passion can drain into life. For you, does it feel like you are running 24/7? Did it feel like you were running for 24/7 in Jamaica versus here?
No. And let me tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
So, with everything that you find yourself, starting out, you want to be the best at it.
Mm-hmm.
So, if I happen to have given extra time to my craft, because I mean, teaching is a craft, right? If
Right.
I happen to have given extra time on whatever day or if it's a daily basis or whatever, that's by choice. Okay. That was by choice. But
Mm-hmm.
I was never the one that found it hard to walk away. I am not going to say that there weren't moments. Obviously, my first 2 years, you're still learning. You want to be able to, perfect some of the things that you are doing. So you
Mm-hmm.
put that extra time in. But we're going to be honest. We're not just teachers.
Right.
Some of us are parents too, or even if you're not a parent yet, you still have a life outside of
Mm-hmm.
that building.
Mm-hmm.
So, how are you able to navigate that part and live a little?
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, when I became a mom, that's one of the things that I definitely did. Understanding that the books that I used to pack up in the car, take them home, the papers, the test papers or the quiz, whatever, they no
Mm-hmm.
longer came home.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes as teachers, and then I'm a little bit off topic as well because I'm remembering something while I'm talking.
Yeah, man,
You know
that's
what
fine.
I hate is someone looking at me and say, "Oh, you're a teacher."
Yes, me too.
What does
Me
that
too.
mean?
What that mean?
What
Which
that
is
mean?
why, which is why when you see me in my heels and I don't have my no cloth bag, I'm not
The
walking with
cloth
no cloth bag on your shoulder. I'm
cloth
sorry.
bag, the cloth
I'm
bag.
sorry. I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing it. So if you see me, you're not going to know that I'm a teacher. No, I'm not knocking the people who do it. That's your comfort. That's how you do things. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, it goes back to what we're saying. When do you put a hard stop to say, I'm leaving this here
Mm-hmm.
and I'm walking away?
Right.
So when I decide to do that, that was probably maybe my third year teaching, and I have not. And can I tell you, even being here now, if
Mm-hmm.
I'm on my holidays,
You're on your holidays.
don't send me no email. Don't send me no email.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want an email if I'm on a break.
I have
You
seen
can
some of
tell me that
those.
you can tell me the night before. I'll get caught up. So when I walk in that Monday morning, I'm prepared.
What
But
is
I'm one that hold those things dear to me
mm-hmm.
that I don't want to interrupt in my break. I may have ruffled some feathers, but that's just me.
Girl? That I think that's quite fine. As a matter of fact, name one teacher habit. It's not in my series of questions, but since we're
Mm-hmm.
here, one teacher habit, just one that
Mm-hmm.
you used to do, but you put a hard stop to. Just one.
Yeah, that's it. I don't bring books or papers home. I don't care. I don't care if I care about the result and I care, but if if we go to school at 6:45 in the morning, school
Mm-hmm.
starts for me around 7:05. School ends at 2:05. If I'm at work at 4:35, that's me trying to get caught up and prepare for the next day.
Right.
Why would I be leaving at 5 o'clock and still bringing papers and books to my car?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the biggest thing for me. I
Mm-hmm.
don't go around that. And whoever I work with, they know that. Garden ain't doing it.
I like that boundary. I think it's a hard boundary to set when you are one new.
Yep.
I think it's important to set it when you're new because I think that's the easiest time. Because
Yes.
once it's set into your routine, it becomes very
Yeah.
hard to break, right?
Yes. I agree.
But I think we misplace our passion. We think that because we're passionate about it, we
Passionate
have
about.
to keep going and going and going. But it's really important to take that pause. Because if you don't, you're going to burn yourself out. You're
You
going to be
have
of
to.
no use to self, absolutely no use to your students. And then we
And
find
let's
somebody
also say
replacing you.
this. That's what I was about to say. Think about this. You are passionate about what you do. We're not saying you're not.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, God forbids you were to no longer exist.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be replaced.
Or hold on a little bit. You know,
Yeah, we
put
have
on.
to.
You have to.
Yeah, man. Put that
So
pause button. Walk away.
yeah,
Walk
yeah.
away. And
Walk
don't
away
feel guilty walking away.
and don't feel guilty walking away. That too. And I wanted to ask you this. This is a little, I think, less serious. But
Mm-hmm.
in Jamaica, a teacher is a teacher inside the classroom and outside the classroom. Like, there's a certain level of respect that we are supposed to command. And because of that, we were expected to look like a teacher. Weekend, weekdays, like you
Mm-hmm.
can't both you go come out of your house in your little shorts and whatever. It's almost like them want to wear the teacher clothes go to the beach.
Teacher clothes. Well,
You know? How you feel about
you
that? Do you feel that same strain being here versus back home?
know, because if you're here as a teacher from Jamaica,
Mm-hmm.
that was also another cultural shock that we walked into.
Mm-hmm.
The suits that, listen, my dressmaker from Jamaica, I would be bleaching at her door before September morning to get those suits, and I
Mm-hmm.
would have had my. Well, I know you still wear your stilettos. You know I don't anymore.
Girl.
But I am saying, what I'm saying is that difference of us having that formal look and going out feeling like a teacher. When I first got here and I started, I obviously you didn't know, so
You see the
we
crux then,
came
man.
dressing that way. You know, kids were thinking we're the principal. Like they're not used to seeing teachers like that in the building. So that was an adjustment. You know, I still have not lowered much of that. I still dress up when I can, because I'm not going to change that. The only difference is I'm on the side where the building's too big. And I told you that. So for me, I've
Yeah.
parked my heels. I
Comfort is
don't wear those shoes
important.
anymore.
Comfort is important.
So that
Absolutely.
comfort has taken over. But
It's
do
not
I
the
still dress
stilettos
up
in
and
that. They're
feel?
wide heels right now. Stilettos, I had to put a pot. Stilettos
Well,
for
yes.
certain days
Those
and certain
chunky
moments.
heels,
Yes.
yes, every now and then, like when, the season now, winter time, so,
Mm-hmm.
I'll bring out the boots and stuff. But yeah, for me, the comfort. So, I rock the J's and all that now because, yeah, comfort is important
Mm-hmm.
walking around. So, but that part too, understanding when I came, the sweats and the sneakers and the yeah, and just we wear it's a lot of t-shirts. So that's
Mm-hmm.
that's even where this came from. That
Mm-hmm.
idea of me now wearing this because it's a lot. It's a lot of teacher tees and just
Mm-hmm.
that informal going in the building. But we have to dress it up same way.
What about if you were to give any advice to a teacher that's looking into transitioning from Jamaica to coming here, what would that advice be?
So the decision that you're making to come here as a teacher is first and foremost. When you come here, you become a cultural ambassador. Whether you
Mm-hmm.
want that title or not, it's going to be given to you because remember now, you are coming in. Yes, you're going to experience obviously what their culture is, but
Mm-hmm.
they're now going to be learning about where you're coming from and understanding, there are a lot of maybe differences, but at the same time, the questions that come with it, wanting to know more about that. So that being a cultural ambassador is the first thing. You cannot deny that. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, whether I wanted to be one or not, the kids were just eager to learn more. And not
Mm-hmm.
only the kids, some of my colleagues that I've come across, they start, will stop me and ask questions. And even now with that recent hurricane, Melissa, the outpouring of love, because everybody know that, hey,
Mm-hmm.
Jordan's from Jamaica. So, just that part alone and understanding that too, you cannot deny being a cultural ambassador. So I
Mm-hmm.
embrace that. I share about my music, share about, other things that I enjoy as well. So even when I travel back home, I come and show pictures, they ask questions, these are the places that I've been to, these are the people that I know and stuff like that. So that's
Mm-hmm.
one. Another thing to understand too, the main reason you're going to decide to come here is the money.
Mm-hmm.
Let's call a spade a spade. If I remained in Jamaica, it's because I was getting more than what I'm offered here. But my decision to come here was mainly because I'll be paid more. So that was
Mhm.
obviously the deciding factor.
Mhm.
I knew I was going to be paid more, so why not try, you know?
Right.
Then there are also other perks that it may come with. So like for me, I've taught testing grades. So if you happen to be here, if you happen to come here and you are placed in a testing grades, based on your students' performance at the end of year on that end of grade test or whatever that test may call in that state. If your students do as well, there are opportunities for you to be given bonuses. You may be given
Mhm.
bonuses from your county or even from the state. So there are perks that, will allow teachers to gain more, to earn more. So if you are deciding to be here, think about those factors. You cannot
Right.
deny being a cultural ambassador. The first thing though, you're coming for the money. But at the
Mhm.
same time, having that impact in the classroom and continuing to teach and to shine
Mhm.
and to give up your best. Will I be rewarded in the end? You may not be,
Me.
but
Me.
being able to get that bonus as well is something that a lot of teachers look forward to
Mhm.
because you still want what's best for your kids. But if you can be rewarded for that, take it.
Yeah. Yeah. One last question, and then we're just gonna run into your business and then some rapid fire questions. All right.
Okay.
Is there a way for a Jamaican teacher, be it that we are going to be cultural ambassadors, is there a way that you share Jamaica with your students, with fellow teachers?
Yes, I do. Even with the social media aspect of it, kids are coming across certain things from Jamaica as well, and they will come and they'll ask more questions about it. The main thing is hearing certain things like how y'all greet each other. So, you saying wagwan and stuff like that.
Wagwan.
Most and then this year I have a teacher at my school that happened to have lived in Jamaica for a while. So now that she found out that I'm Jamaican, every time she sees me, wagwan. I had a
Mhm.
colleague of mine who's no longer at my school, but like when we interact on Facebook, her first thing to me, wagwan Jordan.
Mhm.
They're spelling it their way, but you're seeing that they're trying to continue to
Well,
learn your culture and stuff like
it
that. So
is is better than the touristy Ironman and all of these things. Now,
no, I'm not going there.
I'm not faulting
Wagwan.
nobody for saying Wagwan or spelling it wrong. At least they're trying because,
At least
man,
they tried.
sometimes I hear some people, I'm like, nobody in Jamaica says that.
Says
None of
that.
us do.
No, we
We not talk
don't.
like
We
that.
don't. We don't. You watched a movie, you heard
Yeah,
somebody
man.
pretending to be
What?
Jamaican, and yeah, you just held on to
Yeah.
that. But we not talk that way.
Yeah. One of the things I do is I share some of the lingo with my students. So we'll be, just
Oh,
having our conversations and they might say, how do you say this in Jamaica? And I'll tell them, how do you say this? And one of the things I know with me is that if they say you don't speak Jamaican, I have to stop them. I say, there's no such language called
there's
Jamaican.
no such line.
It name
Exactly.
patois, right? It's patois. Don't let
It's
anybody
patois,
tell you
yes.
about my teacher's from Jamaica, so she speak Jamaican. I don't speak
Jamaican.
Jamaican,
I am a Jamaican.
right? It's patois. Or if you want to be very, very particular about how
Uh-huh.
you introduce the language that you speak, you can say, well, I speak Jamaican Creole, but don't bother about I speak Jamaican. No, it's Jamaican Creole or patois. And
Yes.
and the patois is Patois. It's a French word. All right.
Remember, we're out of
Out
many.
of many, we are one. That is the
We're
motto.
one.
So
So we have a lot
understand
of
there's a very
students
mix.
coming from different places.
Exactly. All right, let's talk about your business. You are owner, right, of Yaadie Educator. You're wearing your shirt. I
Yes,
have
I
a
am
couple of them as well. I
representing.
don't have it on today,
Thank you for your
but I have
support.
it in quite a number of my videos. Tell us how
Mm-hmm.
you got started, and tell us a little bit more about your business and how, if someone is watching now, how they can reach out to you if they want to purchase something from you.
I'm one of those people that you could say I always like the arts. I'm always, doing something like that. So when I was in Jamaica, I went to Heart Trust. I did some of the courses there. So I learned how to sew. I learned, I did interior decorating because I like things like that. I always find myself just fascinated by those things.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was in Jamaica, I used to sew drapes. I used to make I used to make sheets and stuff. So that
Mm-hmm.
started there. So I did that for a while. But when I got here, obviously, starting up and not being able to do that, because I mean, you're here, things are more accessible, a little bit cheaper. Like I restarted when I got here around COVID time, around 2020. I
Right.
restarted my business, started doing, pillows, but I mainly did pillows because, like I said, the sheets and the drapes were a little bit out. However, that led me into starting t-shirts
Right.
because I would have printed on the pillows. And then a friend of mine said to me, see if you can print on the pillows. Why you can't print on the t-shirts?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, So I started doing t-shirts around that 2020 time as well.
Shout out to that
And
friend, whoever it is.
so Monique, big up yourself. You know Monique. I call her my supplicant. She knows how to boost me up. She would just have an idea and she pick up her phone and call me and she just shoot the idea and she expecting the idea to be created. Yeah, shout out to Monique. So that's where it started. So I started doing t-shirts, but to be honest with you, when I started doing t-shirts, I was at the time focusing on like family stuff. So I was
Okay.
doing like the Christmas shirts, I was doing like Mother's Day, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Over time, Monique again and a few of my other friends, they started wanting t-shirts for school.
Right.
So that led me to Etsy, where I, started looking at ideas and seeing how. So then I went into that whole teacher t-shirts and stuff. But then because I was doing the teacher t-shirts, I'm saying something that I can relate to as a Jamaican teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So that idea sparked because I am now wearing the t-shirts. They're not really cultural based for me as a Jamaican teacher.
Right.
So what can I do that represents who I am? And that's how the idea of the Yaadie Educator. So for those who are obviously may come across this video, a Yaadie, as we would say, is a Jamaican who lives overseas.
Mm-hmm.
So when you put the educator on it, it's a Jamaican teacher living overseas. So that idea came and I've had hundreds of, so many of us here. I've had, hundreds of teachers that I've done Yaadie Educator shirts for, sweatshirts, whatever it is. And I'm really appreciative of, the support. One thing with Jamaicans, we're very proud to be Jamaican.
Very proud.
So
I
anything
love where the green and the black and the gold come my body.
anything you see with those Jamaican colors, they're going to reach out and they are going to give their support. So I have no complaints about that. I have formed that little niche maybe around 4 years now where I focus a lot more on the Yaadie Educator style. I still do
Right.
regular t-shirt tees and stuff, but this is what I push, I'm proud of this brand and, I will rep it all day, every day.
And to be honest, the quality of the shirts, good shirts.
That shirt, the orders coming. I just got a phone call on my way home. I need to text her when I'm done.
See?
One of our friends wore her shirt because I had a sale the other day, and she said everybody at the school, all the Jamaicans wanted the shirt, so she's now waiting on me to pass on that information
There
to
you
her.
go.
So
There
yes,
you
the
go.
support. So as for
Right.
support, I know you did mention how can they contact me. So I
Right.
do have my Instagram page. It's called Yaadie Educator. I am also on Facebook, but as you heard me say, I had started out doing that whole family stuff, pillows, and
Right.
all of that. So my Facebook account is actually still my former name, Camille's Designs,
Okay.
and then on TikTok I am Yaadie Educator. So
I
I'm
did.
on
I
all the
didn't. I didn't even know
platforms.
about the TikTok.
Yes, I'm on TikTok. I can be reached on there. Trying to get out of my comfort zone and start selling on TikTok. I've gotten orders through my DMs on TikTok, but I've not yet set up my TikTok shop where I'm selling. It's coming. It's coming. It's
All
coming.
right. All
And the
right.
website is also available as well. It's Camille's Designs. It's Camille's Design. So
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
appreciate
Before
it.
we go, let's do the rapid fire. So, first thing, patties or pizza for a quick lunch?
Definitely patty. And not just a patty, I need a cocoa bread with it too.
How you can't eat patty and cocoa bread? I can't do it, I can't do it.
Stop.
I
Stop,
can't do
Khalid.
it. I can do two patties. I have never been the cocoa bread type. I've always been two patty, straight from either juicy beef or straight from what the next one name?
Tasty.
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 right?
That means you're a juicy beef girl.
Fresh oven enough, fresh out the
You're
oven.
a juicy
No
beef
man, me no,
girl.
no, I'm a tasty girl to be honest, right? But
Okay.
we do a juicy beef too, but it have to be too
Listen,
patty,
patty and cocoa
but
bread
not the
and a
cocoa
cool
bread.
thing.
Yeah.
Patty and cocoa
Mm.
bread and a cool thing.
All right, all right,
What you say,
all right.
girl?
You are your cocoa bread, but me can't. My stomach can't manage so much things. Give me
You're
two
missing
patty, I'm
out.
up to
You're
do.
missing out.
Right. All right. Next one. Early morning prep or staying late.
Late.
All right.
Because sometimes you kind of walk in with 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I think you have enough time.
All right.
So,
What about?
so I'll stay back for an hour or two and prep. Yeah.
All right. What is one patois word you have accidentally said in class?
What you say? I guess a phrase. Like,
Okay.
something shock you. What you
Mm-hmm.
say? What you just say?
Mm-hmm. All right. Chalkboard or smartboard?
Well, I guess I'm going to be Americanized now because smartboard all day.
Word all day. All right. Snow days. You love them or you hate them?
Before COVID, and the real ones know. Before COVID, snow days were snow days.
Me not
So
like nothing damn
before
snow
COVID,
anyway.
I loved just snow days. But do I love snow days now? No, because I got to sit down in front of a computer and do this.
There you go. Problem. Me, I would
Problem.
rather be in a place where there is no snow, so we not have snow. We not have that problem, to be
Do not,
honest.
thank you.
I don't have that problem and I'm so happy.
Dealing
One
with all the
word.
noise in the background. You turn off this. No.
Not have the time for that. One word to describe a Jamaican teacher.
Impactful.
Okay. And one word to describe a US classroom.
One word. I want
And
to
if you
say
can,
opportunity.
opportunity. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it provides a lot more opportunity. And you know why I said that? Because we have so many more at our fingertips. So the
Right.
opportunity for us to be able to implement those other things that we may not necessarily have, back home. Opportunity to be able to be impactful in the classrooms.
Well done. Right. Thank you so, so much for taking the time to join me. It was a really good, fluid conversation. It was great talking to you. I haven't seen you in forever.
2004, 2005?
Maybe not so long. Maybe 2000, maybe 2007.
Well,
We did the Greek. Thank
yeah.
you so much for joining, and everybody else, thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you will come back to join us for another episode of Class in Session. I have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
All right, girl. Thank you so much.